way back at the moment, so I'll adjourn the meeting till 6 p.m. tonight. Thank you. staff and members of the public, I declare the special council meeting on the 20th of May 2025 open at 5:30 p.m. Can we please stand? I'll make that to 6 p.m, sorry. I also acknowledge the Gadigal people as the traditional custodians of the land that we're meeting on and recognise their strength, resilience and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Thank you. Recording of attendance. This meeting is being live streamed and audio recorded to facilitate community visitations for minute-taking purposes, which may be released upon request to third parties. In accordance with Clause 616, the Town of Port Hedland Standing Orders 2014, members of the public are not permitted to use any visual, audio, electronic device or instrument of the proceeding unless the meeting has been prior to do by the presiding member to do so. Members of the public are also reminded that according to Clause 617-4 Standing Orders, mobile phones must be switched off and not be used during the meeting. 3.1 attendance under all councillors are present and the attendance will be listed under the minutes under 3.1. 3.2 attendance by telephone, internet communication, there is nil. 3.3 apologies. CEO, do you have any apologies at all?
No apologies, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. 3.4 approved with leaves of absent, there is nil. 3.5 disclosures of interest. CEO, have you received any disclosures at all?
Yes, a disclosure from me as acting CEO for the meeting tonight. Item number 8.2.1, recruitment of the recruitment committee for the CEO. Nature of interest, my position as acting CEO, type of interest, financial.
Okay, thank you, CEO. Number 4, a public time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an opportunity for members of the public to ask questions and make statements to council. As this is a special council meeting, questions and statements must relate to the purpose of this meeting. Clause 6.73 of the Town of Port Hedland Standing Orders local law requires members of the public wishing to ask questions to complete the question form and place the completed form in the tray provided. If myself as a priority member determines that questions and statements are out of order due to offensive or sexual expression or defamatory, they will not be considered, recorded nor responded to. 4.1 public question time. I declare public question time open at 2 minutes past 6. CEO, have you received any questions at all, CEO? Have you received any questions?
I have not received any questions,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, CEO. Any member of the public who ask any questions at all?
Thank you. As the lone member, I'm right. Go ahead.
Okay, I will close public question time at 3 minutes past 6. 4.2 public statement time. I declare public statement time open at 3 minutes past 6. CEO, have you received any public statements at all?
No, I have not.
Okay, thank you. Does any members of the public come forward, please? And please state your name, thank you.
Good evening, my name is Gillian Fisher. I reside at 3 Mitchell Crescent in South Hedland. I just want to concur with the whichever election part that we go ahead. I would really like for the council to go in with the in-person election. Just from previous experience, we have had mailed out ballots have been taken from mailboxes in residential areas and submitted under not their normal residence. So I'm quite keen to see some stringency and some in-person election on this one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any more public statements at all? Okay, I will close public statement time at 4 minutes past 6. Item number 6, announcement by presiding member without discussion, there is none. Item number 7, I invite all elected members to show of hands that they've given due consideration to matters contained within the agenda. May I have a show of hands, please? Thank you, councillors. Okay, move on to reports from officers. Number 8, 8.1. 8.1.1, council vacancy extraordinary election. We have officer engagement before us that requires a simple majority vote from council. Council 1 notes a letter dated the 12th of June 2025 as the Act of the West Australian Commission, Attachment 1, setting the date for the election to file vacancies created by resignation of Councillor of Tim Turner and Councillor Rents, or Steve Rents, as the 18th of October 2025 under the 4.93 of the Local Government Act. And number 2 notes a letter dated the 16th of June 2025 from the Acting West Australian Electoral Commission, Attachment 2, advertised that the most suitable date for the West Australian Electoral Commission to hold an election to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Banco Rebello is the 18th of October 2025. And 3, set the date for the election to file the vacancies created by Councillor Rebello as the 18th of October 2025, and request the CEO to write to the West Australian Electoral Commission to seek approval under section 4.912. Can I have a mover, please?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to foreshadow an alternate motion.
Certainly, Councillor, I'll put that on.
I'd like to foreshadow the motion that was sent out today at 4:30 by the Manager of Governance.
Okay, can you put that up on the screen?
Are we, yeah, can I just check, are we pulling that up? Oh, we are, it's on the screen in front.
Can we just make sure that I thought we had an alternate 2 on there already. Should we?
Was there only one? Is that?
I just want to make sure that it is very clear what we're doing in the heading.
To Mr. Kettle.
Thank you, through the chair. That's correct. We will need to title that one alternate 3. 2 alternates exist within the body of the report at this time.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
So this is the alternate that was. This is the alternate that was circulated this afternoon.
At 4:30, yes.
Okay. This is the motion. I'll read it out for you. 1. The note later dated the 16th of June 2025 from the Acting West Australian Electoral Commission, Attachment 2, advertised that the most suitable date for a West Australian Electoral Commission to hold an election to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Councillor Becca Rebello on the 18th of October 2025 under section 4.93 of the Local Government Act 1995. And 2, set the date for the extraordinary election as Saturday the 23rd of August 2025. 3. Appoint and act as CEO to returning officer pursuant to section 4.2 of the Local Government Act 1995. And 4. Resolve that method under the election to be an in-person election with a polling place at the Civic Centre of Port Hedland. And 5, approve the abundance of the 24-25 annual budget allocated for a sum of $52,800 to fund the extraordinary election. Can I get a mover for that, please?
Through the chair, point of order.
Yes.
That was a foreshadowed motion, therefore you don't need a mover or a seconder. We are still dealing with the officer's recommendation as far as I'm aware, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we asked him the officer's recommendation. Yes, correct. Which is the first one? Yep. Okay, so I'll go with the officer's recommendation. Can I have a mover on the officer's recommendation first, please? Okay, I'll move it. Is there a seconder? Motion's lost. Okay, we'll now go to the foreshadow. Is it the foreshadow motion? Yeah, foreshadow motion. Okay, is there a mover for that?
I'll move that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, is there a seconder? Mr. Blanco is a mover. Councillor Butson is a seconder. Is anyone against the motion? Good. Councillor Blanco.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before I speak on this, I'd like to foreshadow a motion. Mr Mayor,
Yes, councillor.
I'd like to foreshadow exactly the same motion with a change to 5 being, instead of 24-25, being 25-26.
I'll just check with governances.
And then, Mr Mayor,
Let me just check, councillor.
I'm not finished yet, Mr Mayor. With the change to 25-26, change the absolute to a simple majority, Mr Mayor.
Through you, Mr Mayor, that's still a absolute majority by virtue of the fact that you are making an amendment to the budget.
Okay, that being the case, can I have the number 5 then worded in a way that we can amend or that we can include it into the budget in 25-26, which would then allow the absolute majority to go to a simple. We have done this many times before. We don't need to have the absolute majority to put funds into the next budget. That is done in the next budget. So do we take out the approved, or just put a say we're going to put a budget item in for 25-26? I know we can do it. Mr Mayor, can we get some advice on how?
Through you, Mr Mayor, to Mr Kettle.
Sorry. Thank you. Through the chair, the CEO requires a budget to enact this motion if you require that to be done tomorrow. There is a substantial amount of mobilisation that's required to make this election occur in what is already a short time frame. If you push out the amendment or the approval of a budget into potentially July or later, we essentially do not have the resources to apply to the holding of the election, and that will have an impact on the date at which you set the election for.
Okay, thank you.
Mr Mayor, the payments required, for this item would be issued in the new budget. I don't see, the intent of the council here is to hold an election, Mr Mayor. So can you try and get the intent authorised by the administration, Mr Mayor?
Tom, do you, sorry, sir, just...
Do you want to add to that? Yeah. No, I think the advice that we've given is firm. The bulk of that expenditure will take place fairly immediately in terms of setting it up, applying the resources for it, which will include staff resources, potentially software, potentially the range of other things that we need to commit so that we would be ready to have that election on the 23rd of August. Does require a budget provision for that now.
Okay, thank you, CEO. So it remains as absolute majority?
Yep.
Yes, I thought, yeah. Okay, Mr. Blanco.
Before we continue, because I am confused about this, because
Yes,
the previous advice we had received was if we were to run the previous election, that when we spoke around timeframes, it was that we didn't need to put it into the budget because it was going to be paid after. I'm just curious to see how it varies now that we've got a different.
I think that discussion took place in the context of the WAEC running that election, in which case the costs will fall differently over a different time period. That's correct, isn't it? Yeah.
okay, thank you, CEO.
Sorry, I missed that.
I'm just curious. How does it? I'm just interested. How does it fall differently to that spectrum? Because I'm assuming that you just alluded to that the costs are attributed to mainly to our staffing cost, which are already budgeted, if I'm not mistaken, and we've already got over and above requirements for that to see out the rest of the year from what we've seen with our underdraws. So I'm just curious to see what other overdraws we're going to be looking into. That's all.
We actually don't have the expertise in-house to run an election. This council hasn't run an election itself for a long time. So that expertise does not exist in-house. We would need to contract in, at a minimum, a deputy returning officer starting pretty quickly.
So does that not mean we have that availability within inside of our budget already set? Because I'm assuming that the amount of times I've been spoken to about bringing in third-party people to do jobs that we haven't gone through a council decision on, so I'm assuming that there'll be still room to play within inside the operational budget, correct?
Where we bring in within a budget period external expertise, it's applied to budget lines that have been approved. What we're saying here is that there is no budget line at the present time for any election in the current year, let alone an extraordinary election.
Okay, thank you, CEO. Okay, so it remains as absolute majority, correct. Councillor Blackie, you were for. Councillor Butson, you were for the motion. Yeah. Councillor Blackie, he's already spoken. Okay. You voted for the. Yeah.
Sorry.
We are we're not on the old foreshadowed motion. We're on the can we just get some clarification where we are? I don't want to mess this up.
On the first motion. Yeah,
The first motion,
Yeah.
which can you read the motion that we're on, Mr. Mayor?
Notes that the letter dated the 16th of June 2025 from the Acting West Australian Electoral Commission, attachment 2, advertised that the most suitable date for the Electoral Commission to hold an election to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Abika Rebello is the 18th of October 2025 under section 4.93 of the Local Government Act, and 2, set the date of the extraordinary election on Saturday 23rd of August 2025, and 3, appoints the Acting CEO to Returning Officer pursuant to section 4.2 of the Local Government Act 1995, and 4, resolve that the method of the election will be in-person election with the polling place at the Civic Centre in Port Hedland, and 5, approve the amendment of the 24-25 annual budget allocated for a sum of $52,800 to fund the extraordinary election. That's what it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I've moved that. And who was the seconder, Mr.
Councillor Butson.
Watson? Thank you. Mr. Mayor, and members of the public who are listening, in the past 6 months, we tried to get this process going, and it's been stalled because the council could not get an agenda item presented that recommends holding election. I've requested this to happen in council meetings and by email to the administration, email to the Department of Local Government, and also by email to the Minister of Local Government. While I believe this whole process has been stalled, we have been having additional councillors drop like flies. And while that's been happening, we had Councillor Bennett resign first, and the council resolved to leave that one vacant. And then we had Councillor Rentz resign, and then we had Councillor Turner resign. And the media and the minister have been commentating on the sideline, with the main topic being that we're dysfunctional. So I suppose my challenge to all the professional armchair keyboard presenters is that what exactly are you suggesting is dysfunctional? The comments of the resigning members, well, they haven't been specific. They've not indicated what they mean by dysfunctional, stating that stating it without evidence is just uninformed opinion. It's very important that the Town of Port Hedland Council authorise an election. Some of the reasons, council members can't handle, being here is there might be too much pressure on those individuals. Some might not be able to deal with the abusive public. And some, because they can't get their own way, so they decide everything is dysfunctional. But at the end of the day, this is how the political system works. And as a council member, we have to put up with uninformed commentary from all sorts of people. You've got to deal with abuse. And that abuse comes from the safety of the other person's keyboard in their lounge room. But also you've got to put up an argument to the rest of the elected body to get your grand plan up for discussion. That's a tough road. Again, it's very important that the council approve an election. And clearly, we need all members to vote on this. And it doesn't look like we're going to get that for some reason. I see the Ratepayers Association put out a statement today, to get some comment from the community about spending 50 or 60K on an election so close to an ordinary election. And I would say to you that we have no choice but to hold an extraordinary election. And the reasons why we're demanding an election is because we've been threatened by another resignation. If that happens, the council will be dissolved. That's what happened in 2019. The council is dissolved because of loss of quorum, not because of the fake media's suggestion that the Town of Port Hedland Council was dysfunctional. The Commissioner, when he was appointed, in one of his first meetings admitted that the Town of Port Hedland financial position was the best set of books he'd ever seen in any local government in WA. How dysfunctional is that? I've asked for the reasons the council was sacked by the minister. Supposedly, that's what the media said, and the commissioner. The answer was not sacked, but quorum lost. The answer came back that there was no inquiry that was ever approved and no report was ever issued as required by law if you are suspended and sacked. The reason the council was dissolved was because the mayor, who was a councillor, a council member at that time, resigned and the quorum was lost. And now I continue to field calls from the community that say the mayor has told them he's going to resign. Council members have been told by the mayor that he's going to resign. Staff have been told that he's going to resign. That's the reason we must hold an election, to stop another dissolvement of this council. The only reason you're not receiving a rate rise since McRae, Butson, Blanco, myself, were elected, and obviously the deputy, is because we believe we can find massive efficiencies in the income currently received. We did it when I was mayor in 2016. We reduced operational costs by 25%. Never heard of before in WA in a local government. We did not agree with doubling the rate base to fund the proposed 750 million spend in the council's proposed LTFP, long-term financial plan. Some people will complain about the 60K on an election, but I remind you of the decisions made when the commissioner was here. He gifted a discount of 60 to 90 million in back rates to industry. Where were you? They're complaining about 60 grand. Where were you when that happened? Because I didn't see you at any council meeting complaining to the commissioner that that shouldn't have happened. 60 to 90 million. And a new commissioner will increase rates without question and approve $1 billion infrastructure spend without blinking an eyelid, increasing your rates to unaffordable levels. So my advice to the community is to trust the people you've elected. You'll not agree with us all of the time, but the majority of the stuff that we do will benefit all of Headland. And if you think you can do better, the October election has 6 vacancies. Well, depending on what we do tonight, 7. So you need to put your hand up and give it a crack yourselves if you think you can do better. Now, I could sit here all night long and talk the ears off everybody about the need to have an election. But, you know, I've outlined the main points, and I hope the whole council agrees with me. We cannot afford to put another commissioner in this place. And I would like to hear from all members that they guarantee that they're not going to resign, and then I will feel a lot happier. And then we won't have to be calling special meetings every 5 minutes to make this happen. That's all I've got, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Blanco. Councillor Butson.
I concur with Councillor Blanco. I said what I would like to see is that all of us elected members tonight do agree to this election. It is very imperative and important that we do have that extra person on board so that we don't have to go through previous issues that have happened at council in years past. And especially if the mayor has to go away or he's at his meetings or anything, at least we've got that extra person there so that we can always have the quorum and not have to cancel meetings or whatever. With the money, well, I don't think it's a big issue because over the past probably 7 months nearly now, we haven't had to have paid out for elected members that have resigned, so there would be money sitting in that kitty that probably could go towards this. And I feel that, you know, if we're going to work, as, you know, the Mayor stated, we've got to work together, then I think that we need to work together to actually make this happen so that we can actually get through to our October meeting and do what we have to do, because at the end of the day, we're doing this for our community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Butson. Anyone against? Look, I mean, I'm against the motion. I'll tell you why. I mean, yeah, we're 16 weeks away from a normal election. And I think we can hold together. You've got about 4 council meetings to go to basically, you know, push through the budget, push through the next, you know, 4 council meetings to basically go to election in October with everyone's agreement to just push forward, just basically work together, because we have to work together. And I don't think it's not about the money. It's about this. We don't need to hold an election at this point in time. I think we're okay as we are. But I hear what Councillor Blanco says. I hear what Councillor Butson says. But to have an election, you know, 16 weeks out from another election, you know, don't forget we've had a federal election, a state election, a local election. Then we're going to have another one, and I just think it's people maybe voted out or too many votes to worry about. So I just think it's, you know, we move forward, and that's why I'm voting against this motion. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. Mr. Blanco? Yes. Be quiet. Thank you. So, anyone else for? Yes. Councillor Christian.
Thank you. I'll jump in between before we get any further off track. So, I'd like to start the debate by acknowledging the Mayor's recent media release regarding this meeting, this motion, and the subject of vacancies on Council in the upcoming election. It was quite impressively worded, quite carefully framed, and I'm sure reflects a great deal of consideration and collaboration. And as such, I was looking forward to hearing you expand on those well-crafted points in this chamber tonight. Unfortunately, it seems to have reduced in quality since the writing of it to this point in time. That said, what I found most striking in your statement, Mr. Mayor, and I will use your words as it was written, that you are committed to navigating this council through until the next October elections. With the most of respect, I believe that statement requires some reality testing and some truth telling. The truth telling to truly inform our community. It's no secret, at least amongst us elected members and a select group of community members, that there is a high likelihood of a further resignation before October. The continued weaponisation of your resignation, Mayor Carter, is completely unacceptable for a leader of this council and our community. The biggest reason for us meeting here tonight is to stop any chance of this council losing quorum and yet another commissioner being appointed, thus removing the local democratically elected voice that represents our community. Your statement failed to acknowledge the real confirmed risk of losing quorum here tonight before October due to your own stated intention of resignation. Council cannot function with fewer than 5 members. Choosing to delay this election in the current context is not navigating, it is abandoning ship while pretending to steer. And I would also go as far as to suggest that it's not providing leadership through uncertainty, but merely hope dressed as planning. This is not allowed to unfold in any... So if this is allowed to unfold any longer than what it currently has been, the consequences to our community is going to be severe and dire, as we all should be aware. To rebuttal some of your points, Mayor Carter, you've indicated and suggesting that we're only a few months away and that we've been operating and we've been navigating through. I'll challenge that statement and suggest that we are not managing, we are barely functioning. And with 4 vacancies already known and a risk of a 5th, we are on a knife's edge. If we lose one more seat, it's game over. That's the difference between stretching to cover vacancies and knowingly setting ourselves up for collapse. Your second position, by suggesting that our members of our community will be voter struck, voter tired, or even confused. What confuses the public is having half their representatives missing for months. What causes fatigue is a council that can't make decisions. And an early election gives the public confidence that we are doing everything possible to provide and restore their voice to a table of decisions. We need to give our community members more respect and give them the respect that they deserve to know that they are capable and willing to make decisions on their own behalf. I'll further go on to suggest that it's important the community know, as Councillor Blanco has stated before, we have requested action on a number of these matters as far back as February 25. So for those who are not good at maths, like myself, that's over 4 months of inaction, delay, and bureaucratic deflection. The community has been failed by a system designed to preserve democracy. We have been asked to accept delays, not for the good of Hedland, but for the good of convenience. Our role is to ensure our community is properly represented. Supporting a delay that leaves seats vacant until October, risking a commissioner appointment, contradicts that very responsibility. If councillors argue against filling a vacancy, then quite simply, I believe you're for a commissioner. You are effectively saying that this town is better off without democracy. And my personal belief is that that's a position that is completely and utterly indefensible. If this process was truly about what's best for our community, then the WAEC, the DLGSC, and the council would have found a way to call for an election around the state and federal elections and all other reasons and excuses provided to this council. Instead, the betterment of our community was deprioritised, hence we find ourselves in the position we are here today. This is in a completely unacceptable position, and I'm left to do nothing else but to apologise to our community, who have been let down by this process and everybody involved in this process, including ourselves. This council should simply not gamble with democracy. We must keep proactive steps to safeguard representation. I support calling for an extraordinary election now, not because it's convenient, not because it's cheap, but because it's what people of Port Hedland deserve. A functioning, representative and democratic local government without the fear of being dissolved due to a lack of quorum, once again. I strongly advise every member here tonight to consider these words I've just spoken tonight. And again, please, if you've got other arguments for it, put them forward, because I'm dead keen to bash them against it, because this council cannot move on unless we consider and guarantee we have a direction forward until October election. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Councillor Christensen. Anyone else against? Anyone else for? Yes, Councillor McRae.
Mr. Mayor, I was hoping for some reasons that you could actually give beyond the kind of meaningless platitudes like working together. It's the only thing that you mentioned in your speech just now as to your reason why you're going against working together. Well, right now it appears that you're only working on your own. There's 4 councillors here doing all they can, pulling their hair out, trying to preserve democracy, as the Deputy Mayor has just discussed in this town. Yet, you can look your fellow councillors and your community, the staff, the administration who are here tonight, in the face and tell them that we're working together, if we would just work together. And I'd really like to ask you, Mr. Mayor, to work together. We're more than happy to work with you. We're in a situation here that, unfortunately, it was your resignation in 2019 that killed this council. And now the weaponisation, as it was called, and I couldn't think of a better word, of your threats to resign again, to dissolve this council, to people in the community, to people on this council, is, I don't have words I don't have words for this, that anyone would literally, countries like Australia and in the democratic West, we say we go to wars around the world to preserve freedom and democracy. Yet you're prepared to sweep democracy under the table or under the rug for whatever this ideal or this wording of working together. Democracy, I've had this discussion with political philosophers around the world. Democracy is sometimes it's the best of a it's not the best it's not the worst political system, but it's the best we've got. It's not perfect, but no one has come up with a better system than what we currently have. And if we're going to walk around in our own community and threaten to throw that democracy to the wind and allow a commissioner to come into this town, then I don't know what 100,000 young Australian men died for in 2 world wars, fighting to protect what we called a democracy, while we can go and throw around the idea of your ability to quit, to kill the democracy that we have. I can't imagine being what the spirit of Australians what they would be thinking. They'd be rolling over in their grave if they knew that someone is prepared to throw away our democracy so easily. And so, as the Deputy Mayor said, as Councillor Butson and Councillor Blanco also said, this is the most important thing. I understand $50,000 for an election is a lot. I think they spent quite a bit more than that just on election where I was thrown into an extraordinary election and elected last year. But when we lose 4 councillors in very quick succession, then 52,000 divided by 4 is really nothing. We must do all we can to preserve the democracy that hangs by a thread in this town. And I reiterate the apologies that the Deputy Mayor made to the people of Port Hedland, those people that are listening online, and maybe we'll play this back at a later date. I really am sorry that if this town is to go that way, but I just, honestly, in my heart of hearts, I cannot imagine anyone with any genuine reason why not to hold an election to make sure that this idea of democracy can be killed by the stroke of a pen and another crazy resignation because someone doesn't want to believe with the majority. Unfortunately, in democracy, the very definition of majority is that it's the mob rules. And I don't like to say it's a mob, it's a bad word, but the majority of people have clearly put each of us around this table, including yourself, Mr. Mayor. And I'm sure those people that voted for each of us are proud, decent Australians that, they went out of their way to vote. It's not a compulsory vote at local government, but those people who do vote care enough politically that their opinion matters. And I implore you to move this motion and help us get extra bums on seat around this table so we can, as you said, move forward and work together towards the general election in October. But if any of us is to have an accident, or as anyone said, it's not just about the threats that you're making around the town to resign and kill this quorum, kill this council. There's any one of us could, it could be anything that happens to one of us now between now and October that puts us in a position that it might be health, it might be God knows what related. I don't even want to think about the possibilities. But having 5 on a council in a town like Port Hedland, as the Prime Minister and many other members of Parliament call Port Hedland the engine room of Australia, and we can't. We're so scared of democracy that we'll cancel any opportunity for an election to replace 4 councillors over a 6-month period. It's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. And as the Deputy Mayor said, we should be ashamed, and we should be, not just the administration, but us as councillors ourselves, we should have done more. We shouldn't have gotten to this point. We should have been having this discussion in February or March. But here we are in late June. Anyway, I know I'm rambling at this point, but Mr. Mayor, I implore you to go with this motion, and if you don't go with this motion and you resign, God help you socially, politically, and all that you do in the future, because it will tarnish a reputation that may never be untarnished.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. Anyone else against? Anyone else for? Councillor Blanco, that's them up, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, I would like to agree with the Deputy's comments in his statement, and the rest of the council that agreed with, putting this motion forward. I'd like to call on you, Mr. Mayor, to to support this motion, because it is in the best interest of Hedland. We can't afford to go back to a commissioner, somebody that is not of this place, somebody that doesn't understand, the people of Hedland and the struggles that we've had, over many years. There's 3 of us that grew up here, and we don't want to see the town go backwards. We don't want to see decisions be made that is not in the best interest of Hedland, and that's why we put our hand up to be on council to ensure that we move forward, not backwards. I know there's even though Councillor McRae hasn't been here all his life, he's invested significantly into Hedland. So he's anchored here as well, and he wants to see the town move forward. I'll just go to your statement yesterday, Mr. Mayor, that you put out, and I see that you've written, I feel a deep sense of duty and responsibility to harness all the opportunities available to help build a positive future for the town and the community. If those words are correct, Mr. Mayor, I'm sure that you would support having an election to ensure that we don't lose the quorum and lose the ability of the council to be making decisions for the town, not somebody that is thrown into the chair and makes bad decisions like we had previously with the previous commissioner. And if you do believe that you have the highest priorities of the town at heart, then I believe you should be, supporting this motion, Mr. Mayor. So I implore everyone to vote on the motion, and let's get an election happening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Blanco. Okay, so we'll now put to the vote. All those in favour of the motion? All those against? Motion's lost. Thank you, Councillor. Sorry? That was a foreshadow motion, yes. That was a foreshadow motion.
No, what I've indicated was there is a current foreshadow motion on the table still, so it's not the end. We have to go back to the previous foreshadow, please.
Okay, which is number 4. That's it, there you go. Okay, one that, the foreshadow number 2, one that notes the letter dated the 16th of June 2025 from the Acting West Australian Electoral Commission, attachment 2, advertised that the most suitable date for West Australian Electoral Commission to hold an election and fill the vacancies resigned by Ambika Rebello is the 18th of October 2025 under section 4.93 of the Local Government Act 1995. And 2, set the date of the extraordinary election as Saturday the 23rd of August 2025. And 3, appoint the acting CEO as returning officer pursuant to section 4.2 of the Local Government Act 1995. And 4, resolve that the method of election will be in-person election with a polling booth set up at the Civic Centre in Port Hedland. And 5, approve the amendment of the 25-26 annual budget, the allocation of $52,800 to fund the extraordinary election. Okay. Can I move, please?
Mr Mayor, I'd like to move that, but I want to amend it, Mr Mayor.
Okay, what's your amendment?
I'd like to remove number 5.
Mr Councillor?
My point of order is, again, as we've just stated on several different occasions and made abundantly clear on multiple occasions, you cannot amend a motion that is not live on the table. And I'm happy to be corrected on that. However, we need a mover and a seconder. Therefore, then you can go to an amendment. I'm happy to be corrected on that by the Manager of Government if required.
Tom?
Through the chair, that is correct, and you also couldn't amend that to remove a whole section, particularly if that related to the budgetary amount.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
Good.
Mr Lecker?
Yes, all right. Can we get some advice then, Mr Mayor, on this? We could remove 5 and then apply the simple majority to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then have another vote on the applying the budget to the motion, Mr Mayor.
Tom, just sort of double check that.
Thank you. Through the chair, in theory you could do that. However, those two, all 5, are coupled together because you need all 5 elements in order for us to action this motion. So if you end up with 4 by simple majority, those will not be able to be actioned, until such time as we have a budget allocation.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
Mr Mayor, it is possible to remove 5.
What we're told we can't.
Mr Mayor, I heard the advice, and what I heard was it is possible to vote on 1, 2, 3, 4 by simple, and then deal with 5, as an absolute majority. I'd like to try that, Mr Mayor. The council meetings, Mr Mayor, are about trying to get the will of the council over the line. So if we have been through this, it wasn't achieved, we're going to have to try another way, Mr Mayor. And your job as the chair is to facilitate that. So can you give it a go, Mr Mayor, and see what we can do?
Okay, certainly, Mr Lecker. Okay, so that's it. It's fine.
Through the chair, if I may
Yes.
lend some assistance on this matter, try and help us get through this meeting. Happy to do it.
Yeah, that's okay. We're just going to, motions are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and which Blanco's moved.
Which the Manager of Governance has just told you cannot happen in this current circumstance. So my suggestion to you would be to suggest to Councillor Blanco maybe foreshadow a new motion that has 1, 2, 3, 4 as a simple majority with a secondary recommendation as an absolute majority. That no councillor, if they wish to talk about the original one that's been passed, let it fail, and then it goes back to the foreshadow. Would be my suggestion to continue this meeting forward, moving forward. Up to you, being the presiding member.
Okay. Yep, so we just... So we double check.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, can we just, from the manager of governance, where we're at and the next step?
Thank you. Through the chair, I believe we have the foreshadowed motion on the table.
On top, yep.
So my recommendation would be to have a mover and a seconder for that. At that time, you could foreshadow another motion, although I note it would probably be 2 motions. And then move forward from there in this instance.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the shadow motion is to item number 1, 2, 3, and 4, which Mr. Blanco has moved as a...
Mr. Mayor, we're on the original motion. I'm the mover.
Yep. Okay, is there a second?
Get it?
Second. Thank you. Or against?
Mr. Mayor, can I foreshadow a motion?
Yes, Councillor.
I foreshadow that
Sorry. That was Councillor Christensen.
Got Christensen seconded.
Yep.
Okay, my foreshadowed proposal, Mr. Mayor, is to set out 1, 2, 3, 4 and vote on that, and then vote on that as a simple,
Okay.
and then do the budgetary issue in a separate vote, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Blanco. Okay. Do you want to talk to that? Do you want to talk to that again, Mr. Blanco? No, nothing? Okay, that's for sure.
Oh,
No, it's okay, it's fine. Okay. A seconder? Yes, Christian, a seconder. I'm against it. Do we vote? Put it to the vote? Yep.
going against again?
Yeah,
Mr. Mayor?
I've already, yes.
Okay, so I won't bore everyone with my half an hour speech because you've heard it. It's exactly the same. It is imperative that we vote on getting an election forward. The circumstances are unprecedented. It's not something that I've ever seen before in local government, and I follow local government quite closely. I'm sure, a lot of you know that. I don't know why I do it, but it's interesting what other local governments are doing. And we seem to be doing new things that other councils have never done before, when it comes to this. So, again, the reason we need this done is because, we're being threatened with another resignation. I don't believe that that it is a good position for the council to be dissolved again. I don't believe a commissioner can do the best things moving forward for Hedland. I think we need to make our own decisions. That's what the state government keep telling us, that locals should be making decisions for locals. I do agree with them on that. I don't agree with them on much, but I do agree with them on that. So that being the case, then I would think they would agree with me that, we should be holding an election and we should be ensuring that democracy remains, in Hedland. So I'll just leave it there, and I hope that everyone votes for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Blanco. Councillor Christensen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very much similar to Councillor Blanco, bearing in mind that we're not speaking to the foreshadowed motion right now, we're speaking to the original foreshadow that Councillor Blanco put together in relation to the budget, etc. Being me, I've put together a few debates tonight, and I'll just work my way down the list of the ones that didn't meet the cut for the first one, and I might trace something that I didn't trace before. So I'm going to try what I call the M&M factor, where I'm going to argue the points that you should have argued the first time, Mr. Mayor, and give you the reasons as to why I don't think they're relevant. So the first one has already been touched on lightly, is around the it's too expensive to run an extraordinary election at this current point in time due to unbudgeted expenses. So that argument was captured within inside of our report that we can see in front of us. Now, as soon as we start talking expenses and those sort of issues, the challenge I give ourselves as councillors is very much similar to what we've experienced over the last couple of years. And I think on average, we're looking at about $2 to $3 million at a minimum of unbudgeted expenses that we always approve. Be it events, be it infrastructure, whatever it is, we've done it without question, without thought. So respectfully, $52,000 is a drop in the ocean when we compare to the amount of money that we've pre-approved over the time frame that we've been here. Another debate point I would accept as a relevant debate point would be that the WAEC are the expert bodies on elections, and theoretically, why shouldn't we follow their advice? So for the community members who think like that, it's important to understand that the WAEC's role is purely here to support elections. They're not here to determine whether democracy is upheld, that they don't have the functionality nor the foresight to understand each and every single local government's position and, risk that they are facing currently. But it's also important to remember that the Local Government Act empowers us as council to call an election without the WAEC if required. And their advice is about logistical convenience, not so much governance risk, which is what we bring to this party, and that's why we are pushing so hard for it to happen. I've touched on the base that you're saying that we're only a few months away, and I beg to differ that, again, if you're feeling that we are managing things, then I think you are sadly mistaken. We are in need of some assistance, as you can see. Prior to us losing members of the council, we were very rarely did we have stalemates in this chamber. When you see we have a full team, things get done, decisions get made. This is not a fundamental failing on individuals sitting on this table. It's a fundamental error in us filling these seats to be able to have that availability. That's why we have 9 people on this committee, is because it is the best suggestion way to move forward when we are talking about absolutes, as you'll see here tonight. We'll be around and ring around as rosies. Again, we spoke around how it might be confusing or people might be concerned about it. But the other one that was touched on in your speech or your media release you put out to the community was around the conversation in relation to that we've held vacancies and used Councillor Bennett as an example. It's important for the community members to understand each and every single one of these vacancies hold its very own set of parameters, rules, and regulations around it. It depends on the remaining time available on the seat. It also depends on when they've stood down, who's responsible. So to simply put all these things into one basket and assume that it's the same, it's not. And unfortunately, it's too in-depth detail for me to go through each individual position. However, I think it's pretty clear to see that we really, really, really need to be putting bums in seats to try and get some more decisions over the line, especially considering your statement that your number one priority was the pool and our capital works projects. Respectfully, Mr. Mayor, if we can't seem to get an absolute majority over the line, how are we expecting to get a decision of our as an absolute majority over for the actual capital works projects? So if that's your priority, this then has to become your number one priority, because it provides more diverse conversations when we start talking about the massive, and I mean massive, expected capital works expenditure over the next 10 years that we have all suggested that can be done. So if you're true to your word and you're saying that that's what you're key to do, then you have to start delivering bums on seat to actually help us get these decisions over the line. Otherwise, again, I fear for a stalemate for the interim future. So I'll leave it there for now. I've got plenty more to come, so hopefully we don't need it, but I'll rest my debate there. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Christensen. Anyone against the motion? All those against the motion? I think you've heard it all before that we're only months away from a local election to be held on the 18th of October 2025, and I think that's where it sits with me at the moment. Thank you. So anyone else for the motion? Anyone else against? Councillor Blanco, sum up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think you've heard it all before, like you just said, but one thing we haven't heard from you, Mr. Mayor, is a guarantee that you're not going to resign. We have said, I have said, that we're hearing it from members of the public, we're hearing it from the staff, we're hearing it from council members, but you continue to not outline to everybody that you're not going to resign, that you guarantee that you're going to be here till October, which would make my life a lot easier, because then I wouldn't have to troll the act and try and find ways to ensure that we're not going to lose a quorum. So maybe on the next argument, Mr. Mayor, you can guarantee us all that you're not going to resign, and that would make us feel a lot better. But we've asked. And a few members have asked, and we haven't heard that. We're not being told that would be the case, Mr. Mayor. So, I hope that, you can guarantee us that you're going to stay until October, and that will, make us feel a lot easier. But like I keep saying, we are... we're in a extraordinary position, and we need to move to an election, and we're going to continue trying until we achieve some way forward, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Blanco. So put the vote. All those in favour? Those against? Motion's carried 4-1. Okay, now we'll move on to item number 5. Oh, there was two, sorry. Okay, so if I show number 5. Okay, so you let's make sure that's right. Tom?
Sorry, just through you to Mr. Kettle, you had a comment?
Sorry, through the chair. I just wanted to point out that there may be elements of this motion that are difficult to implement if the election date is set at the 23rd of August. That is 65 days, I think, off the top of my head, from this meeting. Therefore, the longer that gets pushed out by a budget, that date will necessarily have to change.
Can we look at an amendment then? Oh, end of the day, well, if it's going to be dependent on budget, do we not then want to ask for understanding more about the budget, what budget is required to be approved? Because again, I'm under the assumption and under the understanding, since we last spoke about it, we didn't need budget to run the extraordinary election. So again, I want to have a bit more substantial evidence in relation to that, because again, it has been a decision made by this council, or not decision, it has been advice provided to us previously. So again, I'd want some hard and fast evidence to be able to prove what budget we require, when and how. And
well, we could add a section in here and request that the council receive legal advice on the way forward ASAP, or tomorrow. We can do that on this motion, and how and the advice. We're asking how we move forward. That's what the advice that the council would like. So, Mr. Mayor, can we run that by the CEO and see how we would word something like that?
CEO?
So just so I understand the question through you, Mr. Mayor, Councillor Blanco's asking whether the council can receive legal advice on this proposed two motions, the impact of them.
Is that right? No, I don't know.
No, the advice I'd want to see would be if the council approves 1, 2, 3, 4, we are being told that 1, 2, 3, 4 cannot be implemented because maybe 6 might fail. I want some advice, or council would want some advice as to how to achieve 1, 2, 3, 4 in the current budget without an absolute majority vote that's passed.
We can seek independent advice on that, certainly.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, can we have that worded in the motion? Well, you know, I can change. We can change it, or we can do it again. That's fine. Or we can add another one. But whichever way, you know, we want is legal, or can be approved. Let's do it. Let's do it. Gosh.
Could we take our
5-minute break? Yeah, we'll take a 5-minute break. Okay, thank you. Item number 1, 2, 3 and 4, we have a mover for that. And can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Butson, okay. Is anyone against that?
Mr. Mayor, can we amend? I'd like to amend the motion to add point 5.
Point 5, yes.
With the agreement of the seconder, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so you're moving section number 5. Is there a seconder for number 5?
No, with the agreement of the seconder to amend.
Yeah, Councillor Butson has agreed for you. Okay, so anyone against that motion? Yeah, I'm against it. Okay, Councillor Blanco.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, as people can see on the screen, or if you're watching, we are trying another way to get this over the line. It's very important that the council achieve an extraordinary election for reasons that have been outlined in the past 3 council discussions on the same item. So and this one's a simple majority, so we might be able to get a decision from the council on this one here. So I obviously the
As I said before, I think we should just hold off till the original date of the 18th of October to have the ordinary re-election at the same time, to have everyone in places on the same to go. That's all I have to say at the moment for that one. So, is there anyone else for? Yeah, Councillor Christensen.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, you seem to be sticking on the same point over and over and over, and it seems to be going back into just calendar, and assuming that 4 months is a short time. Yeah, it's an interesting stance you're taking, and let's not pretending that October is going to be guaranteed for us at the moment. And like Councillor McRae has stated, it's not even just so much about the resignation factor, it's about any other factor. We're in a transient town. Unfortunately, good things and bad things happen to people all the time, which means that we could very easily lose quorum at any point in time. I think we've done it 2 or 3 times in the last 6 months, and that's 3 or 4 times more than I've ever seen in the first 3 years I was in this council. And that is 110% attributed to the fact that we've only got 5 members on this board. So the fact that we are only 4 months away is irrelevant right now. I think we need to start talking about governance risk, legal obligation, and even just the consequences of an action. You know, you yourself, Mr. Mayor, have highlighted on your very eloquently put together statement you made to our community only a couple of days ago around the importance of your priorities being the fact of the LTFP and those sort of capital works. That can only happen with the appointment of an absolute majority. And right now, Mr. Mayor, from what I've seen, every time we have an absolute at our discretion and at our hands, we can't seem to come to a consensus, even as simple as putting together a council group onto a committee. So, again, if you're dead serious about what you yourself have put forward to our community members and suggesting that that is your priority, then the only way that priority goes and gets over the line is by us ensuring that we have adequate people sitting down with us and helping us make these decisions. So, yeah, let's just make sure it's not just 4 months. I'd love to be able to hear a bit more, but like I said, I think Councillor Blanco has asked for it 3 or 4 times. A lot of the stress can be put aside. Again, it was you that created the stress by publicly announcing and announcing it to individuals that you are wanting to resign. So again, if you're more than happy to step up and say that you're here to support the community through to October, like you've said it in your media outlet, I don't see why you won't do it now. Put us at ease, Mr. Mayor. Again, I'll work with anybody under the sun if it means that we get the right decision made for this community, and I'll put that on the record, and I'll say it as much as I can. I'm happy to do what is required and needed, Mr. Mayor. But again, that starts at the top of the table, and we need to make sure that we get that clear direction on what is needed to me moving this community forward. So, as per my previous statements I've made over the last two debates, they stand as strong as ever in relation to this one. It's important that we get the ground rolling. So, yeah, I'm for this one. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Christensen. Anyone against? Anyone for? Councillor McRae.
Yeah, look, really just speaking again to put it on the record, the importance of getting bums on seats so we can actually make decisions, we can put committees together, we can move this town forward from so many of these decisions that have needed to be made since January that we haven't been able to make because sadly we didn't have enough members around this table, and delaying it until the general election in October is, I honestly can't understand why anyone would push for that, especially when we've been in this somewhat of a stalemate since January, and we're putting that October happens, November is everyone's finding their feet. There could be 7 new people on the council in November. December is everyone's away. January is everyone's away. We're putting this town literally on ice and halting the development of this town for over 12 months is just it's not something that I can come to terms with. I heard government move slow, but I didn't understand that one person has the ability to stop a town from progressing for an entire year at a time. So it doesn't sit well with me. We need to get this election happening, and we need to do it as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you, Councillor McRae. Mr. Blacker, sum up, please.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move an amendment to the motion.
Yes, Councillor. Is that the number?
I'd like to amend number 5 to put a timeline in there, so we know when we're getting the legal advice, Mr. Mayor. I think it might be. I think it could be simple, but can we get some advice on that, on how to put a timeline in there, Mr. Mayor? There's no point requesting legal advice if we get it in 3 months' time. So I'd like to put some.
We'll find out.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Do you want
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I think I'd seek guidance from Mr. Kettle on that. My feeling would be that it would be early next week before we could expect to get a considered opinion on it.
Mr. Mayor, can we have that worded in the motion so we have some sort of idea that is what the motion is requesting of the staff, Mr. Mayor, or the CEO.
Okay, Tom, can we?
suggestion there is by Wednesday, the 25th of June.
Yeah, with that, Mr. Blanco? Yeah. Yeah, I know how that all works.
Wednesday.
Or earlier, if practical, where practicable.
Yes, that's fine, yep.
Okay, yeah, with that, councillor?
Yes, Mr Mayor.
Okay, so we'll put that to the vote. Yes.
Yeah, it's an amendment.
Oh, yeah. Okay, can I move on that amendment? Okay, is there a second on the amendment? Second? You're against? No? Okay, it's passed. Okay, so now put it to the vote. You have it,
Mr Mayor, I think that was right, a reply with me, wasn't it?
correct?
Yes, so we've amended, now we're back to the motion and, oh, do we do the whole thing again, or is it back to the start? I don't know if it's back to the start.
So you sum up.
So is it a, Mr Mayor, is it a,
Amendment.
no, are we finished with this? It's
Correct.
right of reply and
Yes.
then to the vote, is that correct?
Correct.
Yes. Okay. All right, councillors, I think the motion that we've got in front of us is quite clear. I urge everyone to support it. It outlines the intent of what the majority of council wants to see happen. And just to be sure that we are going down the right road, we have added the process to get council some legal advice to ensure that we are moving forward in the right manner, and also whether we do actually need to have an absolute majority on funding an election that might happen in 2020, that will happen in 2026. So all of those points, I suppose, I'll leave it at that, and let's put it to the vote and see what happens.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Blanco. Okay, all those in favour of the motion? Those against? Motion's passed 4-1. So we just need to get that then. No, we need.
So, Mr Mayor, at this point, are we dealing with the recommendation related to budget as a separate item?
Sorry, see, I think now we're finished now. We're going to go off and get legal advice. Is that right, Tom?
You must have me all.
All right.
I don't want me to say anything. The original motion was that we split it. So we were going to vote on 1 to 4. We added 5, so we're voting on 1 to 5, and then we were going to vote on 6 separately. That was the original intent.
Okay. That was my understanding. Before you move to that item, though, could I make a comment, Mr Mayor?
Yes, certainly, sir.
I just want to reiterate the advice that you have been given earlier in the discussion on this item. That is, essentially that the CEO is responsible for implementing the decisions that you make. The position as it sits right at this minute is that you have made a decision related to the election without having applied the budget at this point. So at this point, you've got a decision that's not funded. Now, I appreciate that you're asking for advice on that, but I just want to be clear that the advice you have been given is that this is an issue. Undertaking this is an activity that does require to be funded. So I just wanted to reiterate that advice and ensure that it was that it is recorded ahead of the budget item.
Okay, thank you, CEO. So don't need to get.
So you need a motion on the second.
So on number 6, yeah, okay. So to number 6, 1, approves the amendment of the 2025-26 annual budget allocated to the sum of 52,800 to fund the extraordinary election. Can I get a mover, please?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to move it, but I'd like to amend it. I thought we did amend it. We amend it to the 24-25 budget. I don't think it matters too much whether we.
I'll just check with governance on that.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, well.
That's okay, Tom. That's fine. Okay, all right.
Okay, so I'll move it with the amendment to 24-25.
Okay, thank you, Councillor
Thank you,
Blackett. Is there a
Mr.
seconder for that? Councillor Butson. On against? Okay, Councillor Blanco.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, as the majority of council has voted that they want to see an election happen on Saturday, the 23rd of August, and have the administration make that happen. We need to apply a budget to that, even though we are, requesting legal advice as well. But, if this goes through and we do apply a budget, we won't need to spend money on legal advice. It will just happen. So, this item obviously approves a budget for it, and it stops. It sets in process the election process, but also it puts at ease a lot of councillors' concerns and community concern that we might lose the quorum and council will be dissolved again. Another commissioner will come in. And Mr. Mayor, we've had no guarantees from you over the past 5 or 6 discussions on the same item. We've had no guarantees that have come from you to say that you are going to, stay until October. You continue to you say to different people around the community that you're going to resign, and that is why these items have come up. The town of Port Hedland can't afford to have another commissioner here. We need to make our own decisions. So I urge all councillors to pass the budget and allow the staff to move forward with an election without having to go out and get legal advice. That would be handy. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Blanco. Councillor Butson.
I concur with Councillor Blanco. I mean, we're just going, it's just going round in circles, and we really don't need to keep on reiterating, but it would be great if the whole of us as a team working together, hopefully that it is going to be voted upon that we can actually do this and get it over the line tonight so that we can move forward.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Butson. Those against, I was against it. So instead of going round and round in circles, as I said, the 18th of October has been set by the Electoral Commission, and that by example here, the 18th of October is the preferred date to have the election where all seats are up, and I think that's the best way to go forward. So that's my decision on that. So that's it on me. So anyone else for Councillor Christensen?
Well, I'm slightly disappointed, Mr. Mayor, that you decided to stick with the same defence to this one. In case you were unaware, and you could be, that we're not talking about the election timeframe, calendars or anything. We're talking about merely budgetary expectations. Not once in that debate you just had did you talk about the reasons as to why not to appoint a budget to a council decision. So a little bit upsetting and a little bit, I guess, bewildering. I just, it's disappointing to say the least, because while the Local Government Act doesn't prevent individuals, councillors from holding or expressing personal views, it's usually under the understanding that once a formal decision of council is made, we're expected to be able to, give it some due courtesy and respect usually in the best interest of good governance. So I'll draw us back, like I've done beforehand, to monetary values, and that's what we're talking about here. So I was in my phone before, just doing some quick calculations, trying to work out a rough idea of what our unexpected budgetary spend has been in my time on council. And honestly, I stopped counting after 10 million. So I got to at least $10 million of unexpected expenditure. So I've just done a quick bunch of mathematics and divided that by my 4 years. We'll come up to 4 years in October. And it works out to be, Mr. Mayor, $2.5 million a year of unexpected budgetary expenditures that we tend to approve in this council. Yourself, myself, and councillors around the table have all been privy to these decisions, whether we liked it or not. Again, the council decision is that of the majority. And what we're asking for now is the $52,800 works out to be less, just a little over 2.1% of that expected $2.5 million. So we are now suggesting that we spend $2.5 million of a accepted practice in this council for the betterment of this community. And I'll draw some reference to some of those expected spends that we've done just recently. We refer to the increase in cleaning and the increase to the public open spaces. So items that will have a minute impact on this community for a short amount of time. We talk about events. We've got a great event coming up very soon that we've spent some good money on. Again, we're talking about an event that's going to have a lasting impact of less than 24 hours and potentially into the future on what can grow from it. However, when we talk about this $52,800 investment we're talking about now, we're talking about the long-term protection of this community and mainly of this organisation that we call the council. We cannot operate without 5 members. It's been highlighted again. We still have no faith yet because we haven't been, made to feel any more safer on the matter. So we are still in some concern that we might drop below 5. And again, I think it's onus on all council members to respect council decisions if and when they're made. So if that's not done, it'll be disappointing, but I can only hope that everyone around this table sees that a 2.1% investment of what has been accepted over the time is a good investment for the level of change that this would deliver. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Christensen. Anyone else against? Anyone else for? Yes, Councillor McRae.
I hate being the one to always touch on the emotive subjects and democracy and patriotism and war and what we what the country that's been handed to us by all those heroes of the Anzacs of yesteryear. But each time I sit in this hall, I look straight across the room and I stare at the honour roll, the Pilbara honour roll, or Pilbara it's spelt, but the Pilbara honour roll, and it's dozens and dozens of young local boys, I would say, from this town that went off to a faraway country to fight and they gave their lives so we would have the beauty of democracy and freedom back at home. And here we are, 5 months away from a general election, with a mayor who refuses to acknowledge and refuses to give assurances that he will not resign, as he's done before, to kill this council. And we've got clearly a majority of people here. You talk about working together. You talk about saving some money for a few extra months. The town needs some continuity, needs some assurance. They need to know that this town is, as has been mentioned tonight, there's the 4 councillors here that are doing everything, coming out on their Thursday night and dragging out the administration on a Thursday night. Everyone's got better places to be. But we're all just here because we understand the urgency of making sure this council maintains a quorum and maintains the standard of democracy. And the fact that you would sit there and vote against $50,000, which is a paltry sum in the grand scheme of the money that is unfortunately wasted in any local government budget, especially a budget of tier 1 like Port Hedland, where there's 100 million plus spent on all sorts of things throughout the year, and we can't even find 52,000 to continue and promote and protect the democracy that those boys on that wall over there fought and died for. It just breaks my heart. It makes me want to resign, because I can't believe I'm sitting and sharing a table with people that would be so against democracy, so scared of being not the majority, because clearly you have a fear that the one person that would be elected in here might agree with us and may not agree with you. Unfortunately, since my short time and short tenure on this council, the majority of the councillors haven't agreed with you, Mr. Mayor. Yet, it's like my way or the highway. You have a seat, a veto position, a veto vote to make sure that nothing gets done in this council, and you're doing a great job of it. So when the media talks about dysfunction, it's not dysfunction of the council, it's dysfunction of one person that's not allowing the council to function. It's the most frustrating thing I think I've ever experienced in my life. But Mr. Mayor, please, stay true to your word. What you said some beautiful words in your media release to the town yesterday. Work together. Let's move the town forward. Let's not hold it up. Let's not keep it in a stalemate. Let's not keep it in a quagmire like in September we're supposed to go into caretaker sleep mode. But you're keeping us in sleep mode before September and after. It's like it just doesn't. Nothing is making sense. I've known you personally for a long time. You're better than this, and I really hope, Mr. Mayor, that you can approve this so we can get this town moving forward and make decisions that we as councillors have been elected by our community members to make.
Okay, thank you, Councillor McRae. Councillor Berger, you want to sum up, please?
Again, you've heard it all before, and I hope that the council agrees to amend the budget and to approve some funds so we can then get this motion that's been passed by the majority of the council moving, funded and moving. So I implore all councillors to support the budget amendment and let's get this election moving. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Blanco. Councillor, now put it to the vote. All those in favour of the motion? Those against? It was 4-1. Okay.
No, the
So, councillor,
Votes read out, Mr Mayor.
votes 4-1.
4-1.
Yep, thank you.
So did we achieve the absolute, Mr Mayor? Can you?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't achieve the. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to 8.1.2. The Chair gives officer recruitment. We have officer recruitment before us that requires a simple majority vote from council. That council, 1, pause the CEO recruitment and selection process until September 25, and 2, request external recruiter consultant to prepare, revise a timetable to complete the appointment of the process by council following the local government ordinary election in 2025. Sorry,
Mr Mayor, can I just draw your attention? I've got to my interest in this item.
Yep.
My interest being that I'm currently in the position of acting CEO, and that's a financial interest.
Okay, thank you, CEO. Okay, can I get a move on that, please?
Mr Mayor, I'd like to foreshadow.
Yes, certainly, councillor.
I'd like to foreshadow officer's recommendation 1 and 2 on page 25-26.
Read number 1 first, Tom.
So through you, Mr Mayor, I understand the foreshadowed motions are alternate officers' recommendation 1 on page 25 and alternate officers' recommendation 2 on page 26.
I've got to do it again.
Mr Mayor, you might need to explain what happened in
Yes.
in the last meeting and why we're doing this again, Mr Mayor. Or would you like me to explain?
The reason we're doing this again is because we had a mover, but we didn't have a seconder. So that's why we need to get on and do the whole thing again. That's right, that's it. Yeah,
There was a lot more to it than that, but that's
it was very simple. That's what it was.
basic,
That's what
very
it was.
basic. Yes, Mr
Very
Mayor.
basic. Yes, that's what it was.
Righto, channeling, if I may, seeing as we don't have a live one because we haven't got a seconder yet again, but we won't go there. If I may ask some questions, I've been requesting information, Mr Mayor, from yourself and from the administration for some time now, correct me if I'm wrong, about 3 or 4 weeks now, that relates directly to the reasons for having this said committee. When will I receive that information in relation to the email, in relation to contracts, etc.?
Tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Can we put Councillor Blacko's submission number 1, recommendation number 1 up?
No, point of order. We're dealing with the officer's recommendation first, aren't we?
Yes.
You've read that, Mr Mayor. So can you ask for a mover?
I removed it.
You removed it.
I moved it. Officer
Oh,
recommendation.
you moved it. Oh, do we have a seconder to that?
No,
Okay.
because you went to the alternative option. You went officer recommendation number 1 and number 2, alternative. Do I read it on the screen? Is your 2? You correct?
We're not doing my recommendations, or my foreshadowed. We're doing the original. You've moved the original. You
I
just
moved
told
it.
me.
I moved it. Yes.
Okay. Well,
Is there a seconder? No. So it lapsed.
So now we move on to.
you want me to call the alternate, Mr Mayor?
Yes, please.
Mr Mayor, can we have the alternate recommendations that I've foreshadowed up next? Would you like me to read them, Mr Mayor?
That's okay. That's fine. Just checking you're okay with that, Mr. Blanco? Yep. The alternative officer's recommendation number 1. The council appoint members to the CEO Recruitment Selection Panel Committee as Mayor Carter, Councillor Blanco and Councillor McRae, in accordance with the CEO Standards Panel 5.10 of the Local Government Act 1995 and the CEO Recruitment Performance Determination Policy and the CEO Recruitment and Selection Committee Terms of Reference. Requires absolute majority vote. Is there anyone against? Motion?
Hang on a sec. Do we have a mover and a seconder on this?
You moved it.
I moved it. Do we have a seconder?
Councillor Christian seconded it. Did you handle it? Okay, sorry. Okay, what you your hand up, sorry.
Okay, let's get this right, Mr. Mayor. This is what you did last time. So I moved it. Okay.
Sorry, point of order through the chair.
Yes.
This is going to be frustrating, I know, but
You need a second first.
my question to you first before we do that is, if this is the first time, I'm assuming we're going to take this as the first time it's being brought up, do we not now need to receive nominations? Because I'm at a loss as to how this is being tabled again. I'm just trying to get my head around it. I'm sorry I wasn't at the meeting, but I'm just trying to work out, is this a brand new motion being brought to us? Or are we just retabling one that we had previously?
Sorry, Tom, yeah.
Through the chair, we have captured the intention of the council through the last meeting, even though that did not receive a seconder, so it's presented before you as is. If you would like to change that, we would need to go through a nomination process. Specifically speaking, there is no nomination right now.
Okay, so move it as Councillor Blanco. Is there a seconder? Yep. Councillor McRae. Is anyone against? Okay, Councillor Blanco.
Well, this is interesting. And I thought that this might actually happen. So I'll just do it off the cuff. We've been trying to get a committee going since January, and the argument from the mayor and councillor, previous councillor Rebello, was that they wanted to stick with the approved council policy that only had 3 council members on it. So that was the sticking point for 5 months. 6 months. And, you know, we tried to change it, so, you know, put all of council on there, and, you know, clearly that wasn't happening. So Councillor Rebello resigned, and, you know, then we had a choice of 3 councillors. So obviously myself and McRae put our hand up, and we're sticking now to the policy. The very reason why it was opposed for 5 or 6 months. And now we have another opposition to sticking with the policy. So it's going to be very interesting to hear the argument against putting a selection committee together to move forward with the CEO recruitment. And, you know, the advice that I've received over the years from the administration leading up to elections is that we shouldn't stop the business of council. You know, even though there is a caretaker period, we should run the council as per normal all the way up to the caretaker period. Then we run the caretaker period, and obviously off we go again. We just don't make significant decisions in that caretaker period. And that's what the Act says, that's what the rules say. So to change that and think that we should be not making significant decisions or running a selection process now is incorrect. We have the ability to do it. There is no restriction on us doing it. We shouldn't stop the business of council moving forward. And we should be moving forward on this because we have been waiting for months. And the arguments were quite clear. Stick to the policy. We are now sticking to the policy. There is nothing stopping us from moving forward. So I suggest all councillors stick to what they have been saying for months and support this moving forward, and let's get on with it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Blanco. Councillor McRae.
3 weeks and 1 day ago, we sat here. We had a galley full of our community that were here to ask for some help. Most of the audience were here to part of the marine rescue. And Mr. Mayor, you said at that time that when we tried to bring the entire council into this committee so we can begin to read some resumes of potential CEO candidates, there's 16. It's been narrowed down to 16 by our external body that we've already paid a significant amount of cash to go through these resumes and pick out the final 16 for us. And we're not allowed to read the resumes of these until we pick a committee. Now, obviously, there's been considerable pushback by the mayor and previous councillors to stop this committee from being formed for whatever reason, for whatever agenda, whatever the purpose is. So we said, let's bring the whole community on. And the mayor in front of the community, Mr. Mayor, you said that no, the whole council can't go on because we have to have 3. So we amended the motion, we foreshadowed a motion, and we put 3 on. And you agreed to that. You were quite happy to set the committee of 3. And now you, in good conscience, because of a technicality, because of a poorly run meeting that confused yourself, confused the CEO, confused governance, confused all of us councillors. We missed a seconder, which we all agreed was absolute majority. We agreed that yourself and Councillor Blanco and myself would be on a committee to read the resumes to bring to the council so we can get a CEO and get this town moving forward. The catch cry that you keep using, moving forward, moving forward. It's exactly opposite of moving forward. You're keeping us stagnant. And as anyone knows in business or an operation like this, if you're not going forward, you're going backwards. And I hope that you're putting your hand up to oppose this motion was a mistake, because you clearly supported this 3 weeks and a single day ago in front of the community. Now we've only got a smaller community of a smaller group of our community in front of us here, and now you've suddenly lost your shame and you're able to put your hand up for something that you voted positively for 3 weeks ago. So I hope to God you've got a really good reason for it, because the get out of jail free card, which came by way of an absolutely poorly run meeting, which just was quite embarrassing for those who watched it. But everyone was so confused by the poor processes in place that even governance and the CEO himself missed it. So here we are, just reiterating a vote that you've already voted on. You've already supported this in absolute majority. Now you're putting your hands up to oppose it. I hope that you read a long reason and you've got some really powerful excuse as to why you would change your mind on such an important motion to move this town forward. As the catch cry you keep using, moving forward, you're moving the town forward. Let's move the town forward. So let's do it. Let's move the town forward. Let's get this committee together and let's get our CEO selection panel together so we can start reading resumes and we can start putting the process in to give this town its permanent CEO, to give our governance team and our administration of this town some direction and stop holding them back. This is I'm in shock. I did not believe that anyone would dare oppose this, especially after all of us sitting at this table. Every single one of us voted for this, fully supportive. It was, did we just vote because we're embarrassed by the community? We better put our hand up for this because it'll be too embarrassing if the whole community finds out I put my hand up. There better be a very good reason that you're putting your hand up to go against this, because this video, I'm sure, is going to go viral around the town regardless of what happens, and I'm hoping it was a mistake that your hand went up. It just doesn't make sense whatsoever.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. Those against? I'm against this motion, and I'll tell you why I'm against this motion. As I said before about our election, we're 4 months out from election. We're going to have a whole new council on board, and I think it's up to the whole new council to basically pick out the new CEO moving forward. That's what's good for the town. You have a whole new council. The CEO is going to be here for 5 years. The people coming on board will be here for 4 years, a lot of them, and I think it's a good opportunity there to set it straight, to make sure we get the right CEO with the right council, picking the right one. That's why I'm against this one. Thank you. Excuse me, don't speak over me, please. Do not speak over me, thank you. Do not speak over me, thank you. Do not speak over me.
Point of order.
It's point of order.
My point of order is your attitude towards the people in the gallery.
Rejected.
You should not be treating people like that, regardless of their input.
Rejected. Thank you. Okay, anyone else for? Yes, Councillor Christian.
Right, we'll try and bring this one back on track. It's interesting. The very nature, Mr. Mayor, I don't know if you realise this, but the very nature of you going against this motion is actually wasting the exact amount that we've just asked for from our previous motion, over $50,000. It was over $100,000 to commence this process. And now by pausing it, you're supporting the disposal of $50,000. Ironic, to say the least. But second to that, Mr. Mayor, we talk about being team building, leadership. I have not once been brought on this journey that you seem to think that you're in control of, and again, it's about truth telling, and it's about setting the standards, and then the community need to know this sort of information now, because it's at the point now, we're at the precipice of no return. All my research I've done is that in order for us to allow for an acting CEO to sit for more than 12 months, are you aware of the legalities and the requirements required to do that? Take it on notice. We'll keep moving on. So for those community members watching at home, I can dictate to you that from what I've read, and I'm happy to be corrected at this point in time, that as soon as we go past the 12 months approach, it suggests that a full recruitment process is required. Now, by you suggesting that we pause it is going to guarantee that the acting CEO will be in place for more than 12 months. Therefore, by the very nature, we should still have formed a committee. Why? It's because we will still be required to form a committee to allow the acting CEO to go any further. I hope you thought about that. And I don't know if you have or not, because we don't get kept into the loop of this sort of information. This is the very reason why this committee must get put through. This committee must start the process that we've already started. And respectfully, Mr. Mayor, that statement you just made was absolutely outrageous to suggest that, in the way I've interpreted it, and happy for you to use your power of presiding member to correct me if I've misinterpreted you, but it sounded like you said you cannot trust, or you would not allow this council to make such an important decision because we're untrustworthy. If that's the case, I would actually demand that you actually either stand by what you said and make it very clear that's what you stood by and that's what you meant, or I'll give you the opportunity to suggest that that's not what you meant and that whatever you meant is what it meant. I'm at a loss here, Mr. Mayor. It's absolutely ludicrous that you can sit there a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, support this and then say nothing about it. And then your only response to it is going, oh, we were so close to 4 months away. 4 months away is nothing right now in comparison to we've got candidates waiting, we've got a process in place, we've got three candidates that I would still trust to get the job done to bring this to the table. But we can't even seem to get our heads over this one. It is absolutely bewildering to me, Mr. Mayor, on what we are trying to do here. You want to sit there and talk about leadership. It's I don't know. You know, being a leader is more than is about more than just giving direction, casting votes. It's about setting the example and stand by what you said. It's absolutely deplorable that we sit here, yin yang, yo yo, around decisions that have been made, won't be made, will be made, won't be made. Again, I've just showed you how hypocritical you are in relation to talking about funds and not wanting to spend the funds, and yet you've just wasted the exact same funds that we just finished talking about, trying to put some action into place. It is absolutely just interesting. So, as frustrating as this is, I'm assuming we're going to be in for a long night, back and forth, to try and understand the actual intent as to why you're saying no to this, Mr. Mayor, but I've got all night. This decision is too important for it not to be made, so hell or high water, regardless of what your stance is on the actual councillors and what your stance is on the actual recruitment, I'm sure you've overlooked the fact that we're going to need this recruitment policy to extend this acting CEO's contract past 12 months is by my reading. And again, I'm happy to be corrected on that, but from my reading, and I'm usually pretty good with it, it's seeming that that's what we need to be doing.
That's correct.
So I'm at a loss here, Mr. Mayor, regardless, because I'm assuming I'm not very good at maths either, but by the time that contract comes up, we're going to need to do this, which means that where are we going to be? We're going to be a long way from nowhere. So my suggestion would be that you hopefully take some heat on this and realise that, okay, let's get these people in place, let's get the independent person in place, and then we can work away. We still don't have to decide on the CEO, but we can decide on the people who are going to at least shorten it, get that decision to us. If it's not the right decision, then we can delay that decision to a later date if we want to. Right now, this is the only option we have, regardless of what you feel, whether it be in acting, long-term, short-term, now, or in 10 years. We need a committee to be able to get the ball rolling in some way, shape or form. So I really, really do hope that we get this knitted out so we can go home and get back onto the bandwagon and get the important stuff done in the next couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. MS4.
Oh, am I going for it? Yep. Well, that's a really good session around the table, but Mayor Carter, I would really love you to consider actually doing this. It obviously was a mistake at the last meeting, and we've now got the opportunity to rectify it and actually commence the committee. I have done my due diligence through the Department of Local Government and, you know, really on the acting CEO's position, etc., where, you know, his contract, I think, is due up in November. And basically that's got to come back to council again for an absolute majority if we have to renew it. It can't be done administratively. So I think that really to get the process going, and you know, you're talking about October, then that pushes it out to January, February, March next year, and I mean, we then still don't have a CEO. The staff here still don't have the vision or the direction on which way the town's got to go. And with new councillors on board, and I really would like you to consider, this is something that you agreed to 3 weeks ago. If you have the town in your best interests and you want to work together with all of us, then I think it needs to be done.
Thank you, Councillor Button. MS against. There's 4. Councillor Blanco, sum up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, look, there was some good points stated, Mr. Mayor, and you know, that's the reason why we have debate, because we make a decision. You know, we might make the wrong decision, and the debate comes in, and you know, the points are told, and you know, we change the way we're thinking, and you know, regardless whether we're dealing with the new CEO, Mr. Mayor, or the acting, we need the committee. We need the committee to deal with the acting as well. So by not putting this, by not approving this motion, we effectively are creating a situation that puts us in an uncompliant position with the Local Government Act, with the department, with the way that we deal with the acting CEO, the way we deal with, you know, our new CEO coming in. So we can't wait until the until the election. We have to, make a decision on this because, as the deputy is alluding to, we might have some issues with a contract, and we need the committee to deal with that. If there is a problem there, I'm unclear. I haven't seen it, but we need the committee in place to deal with any issues that may arise moving forward in the short term. So, Mr. Mayor, I hope you understand that and vote with us on selecting this committee because you have agreed to it previously, and it's no big deal. It's something that we have to do. It's something we need to do to comply with the Act, and I hope you support it. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Blanco. Okay, so now put it to the vote. All those in favour of the motion?
Sorry, through the chair, I just want to foreshadow a motion as well, if I can, thanks.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Yep, so I'll ask that we put 3 new candidates forward, if that's the case. Or go back to the existing motion of electing all members of the council.
One of the other,
Okay, so it will be to elect all members of the council and then make the adjustments as per previous motions captured from this point of view. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
okay. Is that what you're looking for, Councillor? So you're moving that alteration, councillor? Yeah. Okay, so number 4. This is a foreshadow motion that the council one amend the CEO
Mr
recruitment.
Mayor, point of order. We'll go back to the original. Do the vote.
So this,
Back to the original motion number 1. Okay, all right. Yeah, then we'll go back. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So shadow number 1. We that's right. That's all. Okay. Just make sure.
so, just check in, on the screen is the motion that's on the table, that's just been debated, it's now ready to be put.
To the vote. Correct. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All those in favour of the motion? Okay. Those against? Okay. Motion's lost 4-1. So now we have a foreshadow motion from number 2. Move Councillor Christensen. Is there a seconder?
Mr Mayor, I want some questions first, before we go on. Okay, all right, second to you.
You second it?
Yes, I'll second it, but
Okay.
I need some questions.
Okay. So the mover in Councillor Christensen, second to Councillor Blanco. Is there anyone against that motion?
I want a question, Mr Mayor.
Okay. What's the question, Councillor Blanco?
My question is, what are you trying to achieve here? I don't want to be here all night long. Okay, so what do you need from the council to get what's your plan? If you tell us what that is, we might be able to work something out. But you know, going backwards and forwards like this, you know, we're going to be here for a long time because you know, this stuff we were doing in February. I think it was December and February, and we were here till 11 o'clock at night.
Correct.
Okay, so Mr Mayor, can you just tell us what you want, so we might be able to facilitate that?
Councillor, all I'm saying is we have an election coming around in October.
Point of order through the chair.
Yes, Councillor.
If you're going to be going through tit for tat, talking and communicating, I suggest that we suspend standing orders,
okay.
that we take a 5-minute recess and have this conversation out, not in public scene, please.
Okay, fine. Okay, we'll suspend standing orders. Can I move it, please? Suspend standing orders.
Oh, no, it is.
Can I move it to suspend standing orders, please? Move it. Councillor Gray, is there a seconder? Okay, Councillor Gray. You're against? Okay. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, sorry. Okay. Okay, I'll call for a recess, please, Tom. Thank you. Okay, okay. What I'm doing, Councillor Blanco, is this. I mean, as I said before, we're 4 months away from election, okay? We have 5 new councillors who are going to come on board, okay? Right, maybe more, maybe 6. Look, councillor, you want to hear my story? I'm telling you my story, okay? So what I'm asking is for the new council to pick the CEO, okay? They're the ones that have to work with the CEO over the next 4 years, okay, and 5 years, okay? That's what I'm doing it for, okay? Okay?
I get that, Mr Mayor.
Okay.
I'll tell you what we should do then. We should get some advice from the CEO, all right? Because it's you know, we've suspended standing orders, so let's get some advice on the reasons why a motion like this needs to be passed to move forward, even in the acting role, and what not passing something like this would, what sort of non-compliances we would be facing. Can we get that sort of advice from the CEO?
CEO? Microphone, please.
Mr. Mayor?
So my understanding is that this is a committee set up under the Local Government Act with terms of reference that task it with certain steps in the process of recruiting a new permanent CEO. That's my understanding of the purpose of it. The terms of reference also set out how it was to be constituted, which is the three the mayor and initially three councillors. That's interesting. No, sorry, I'm just checking. I don't have that in front of me, so and it's probably not. Yeah, it's probably not relevant. But the purpose of it is to undertake the process of recruitment and selection of the permanent CEO. That's what it was set up for.
But it also talks to the acting.
So, well, my recollection, anything that exceeds 12 months from an acting point of view contract will trigger a CEO recruitment process, which then in itself requires this committee and this council to have a recruitment committee, correct?
You're not required to have a committee. The council could do that, but it is a council decision to appoint the acting CEO by absolute majority.
Yes, again, and it says an acting CEO, you appoint them with the intention that it's going to be below 12 months, otherwise you would have assigned a contract. What I'm saying is that the contract will subside or go past 12 months, and by the Act, I'm reading the Act here, it says it will trigger the full recruitment process. Now, in order to go to a full recruitment process, we will inevitably have to go and get together a committee, correct? That's how I read a recruitment process dictates.
Yeah, I haven't taken specific advice on that, but if you had a short gap, I understand that again it would be a council decision whether it's this committee or the council. It would require a decision of the council to extend that period beyond 12 months in a separate contract, or you could do it. That wouldn't be your only option. So the clear answer to your question is a contract for an acting CEO can't be longer than 12 months. And so it would require a council decision whether it was to extend that contract or to appoint someone else. You would have to have a process to make that decision at that point, if there was a gap. If there was a gap.
Well, there's going to be a gap because we've just established that if we don't go ahead with it, it's going to be October. Therefore, November is your expiry date. So therefore, there's going to be a date because the initiation will be October if you're lucky, if councillors get their head around it. My concern is, and I've used the Regulation 18A to F from the Administration Regulations, which sets the selection criteria, and it endorses and it suggests advertise because when a full recruitment process is required, and they've established to us that after 12 months, a full recruitment process is required. From what I can read, the regulations suggested that you need to advertise the role statewide, establish a CEO recruitment and selection committee, and then comply with all the regulations. So again, I'm happy to be corrected on this, but again, this is one I'm concerned about. This conversation has not been had leading into these discussions. And when councils are kept in the dark, this is what happens.
Thank you, CEO. Okay, coming to standing, back to the standing orders, Councillor Miller, please. Thank you, Councillor Christensen. A seconder. Thank you, Councillor McRae. You're against? Okay. Okay, back to standing orders. Okay, back to the motion. The council amend the CEO recruitment in terms of reference, item 5.1, up to 5 councillors to the committee, and 2, appoint the mayor and all councillors and members of the CEO Recruitment Selection Committee in accordance with the CEO standards under Section 510 of Local Government Act 1995 and the CEO recruitment performance termination policy and the CEO recruitment and selection committee terms of reference. Okay, can I get a mover, please? Councillor Christensen moved it. Is there a seconder? Councillor Blanco? It's confirmed. Yeah. Is there anyone against? Okay, Councillor Christensen.
Right out. Knowing the reasons why you're against, Mr. Mayor, let me try and see if I can persuade you otherwise. I know that you're suggesting that we're going to have elections in October and these newly elected councillors are going to be the ones to select a CEO that goes on for 5 years. Let me put a very likely possibility forward to you, Mr. Mayor. Now, 6 to 7 councillors' seats are up for grabs in October. If all 6 to 7 of those council seats are brand new candidates who have never set foot in a council chamber before, I'm telling you now, and I'm hoping you're going back and reliving your day when you first in this council. I sat in the chair 3 seats away from me, absolutely packing myself, not realising what to do at a council meeting with a 18-page standing order. Now, you're expecting these new councillors to come on board, understand standing orders, go through the understanding, the basic trainings, the expectations, all this fun things that we all get to do as councillors that take absolutely amounts of time. They then take on consideration, they start realising how much this effort puts onto their work life, how much it puts onto their personal lives. And then now you're expecting them to be able to pick up and run with all that, not including all the other fun things that will be coming, because we are now sitting with a tidal wave of things that haven't been decided because we haven't got enough councillors at the moment. So they'll have all that on top of them. And then on top of that, you now go, well, you know what? You're going to have 1 month to make a decision on a CEO. Good luck. That is absolutely bogus and crap if this council sits here and says that's how we hand over to our fellow councillors moving forward. If we make it to October, and heaven forbid, I hope we do, but if we do, that is how we are setting this next council up. And it's for failure. It is absolute failure if that's what we're saying we're going to do to them. You've got a previous mayor sitting next to you. You've got yourself who's had more than 5 years experience. I've got 4 years experience. We are going to be the best suited candidates right now to help this community forward, to help put a process in place so the CEO can be in place as the new councillors get put in place. You're crazy to think that we're not going to pick a good candidate. We've got a professional organisation who's a third party who are doing the fine tuning for us. They're going through all the names, all the people with a fine tooth comb because it's their professional name on the line. So again, you can call us into disrepute all you want, but I'll challenge you now to go and call them into disrepute and say that they're not doing their job, and that's why you can't trust them. It'll be a brave man to do that, and I'll challenge you to do that because it'll be interesting to see what will come out of that. But again, we need to come back to the fundamental problem here. This is so simple in what we need to be doing right now. We are setting up a committee to shortlist. We don't have to decide or agree on the shortlist that comes through. If that's the case, then guess what you do? You kick that can down the road when it's required. Right now, we are putting basic governance practices back in place where they belong. So again, we can pivot if we need to, because if we do then need to address the fact that the CEO's contract is going to be expired before the 12 months that we didn't seem to pick up and not inform anybody about, then we can respond to that. We've got a committee already formed, then we can put them into action to even renegotiate that contract if that's the case. By the very definitions, the Act and the regulations I've just read. We still need to do it after 12 months. Until somebody can put me in my place, which I'm sure will come in the next couple of days, but from what I've read, that's what it says. And it just makes common sense that we just put people in place ready to go for this community so we can actually start the ball rolling that we've already started. So, again, I'll wait for everybody else to jump on board with this, and I'll leave my debate for the rebuttals. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Kirsten. Councillor Blanco.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I can't believe we're here again. 6 months later, we're in exactly the same position. I agree with what Deputy Mayor Christensen just said. You know, sometimes I struggle to, see where he's going, but he actually did quite well there. So I don't really have to say much because he did well in explaining it. But what I can tell you is that, if there is 7 new councillors that are greenhorns, I will be getting the pick of the CEOs that I want because they'll just look to me, to make that pick because I doubt you're going to get back on. So, if that's not what you want, and you don't want me to pick it, because I picked a really good one last time. We had, we were in all sorts of trouble when I got on last time. I know you hate to hear this, but you were there, and you got no idea what happened. But we were at a debt ceiling. We had all sorts of issues, staff turnover of over 50%, all the stuff that was going on. And we cleaned the joint up. We put a new CEO in place. He was a great CEO. We paid our debt off. We increased our income significantly without increasing rates. We did all the things that we were supposed to do, and obviously that was it wasn't good enough for the state government. But anyway, that's another story. But we'll be doing that again. Because the only two that are guaranteed to stay on is myself and Councillor Butson. So if you don't want me making that decision, I think you should. I think you should either support this one here, or the last one, which is the 3 councillors. Support the policy that you were so stringent on before, that we had to support, and you did, and now you don't. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. Hopefully you change your mind and support one of these things.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Blanco. Those against, I'm still against this motion. I said what I had to say in the last motion, why I'm against this motion. So anyone else for? Anyone else? Oh, Councillor
Yes,
Butson.
I'm for Mayor Carter. Look, I'm lost for words. I really would like you to support this. I do not know the reasoning on why you don't want any of us to start this process. As the process is, it's just to come down to the final 5 candidates, which, as Councillor Christensen has said, can be done later. This has been ongoing. Not only that, is that, to start this process, how much money have we so far forked out for this? And it's just wasting money. We can't get an election going because it's 52,000, but we've wasted over $100,000 on this so far, which could go out even further. So please, for all of us, and you keep on stating that we've got to work together, can we please either have one or the other and try and get this through so that you can start the process of going through the candidates that are ready to.
Thank you, Councillor Butson. Anyone else against? Anyone else for? Councillor McRae.
I just want to reiterate what everyone else has said. The Deputy Mayor mentioned very clearly and very succinctly that if you put a possibility of 7 new councillors in the position of trying to understand the Act, trying to understand all the systems, the standing orders, everything else that involves the general running of council, never mind trying to put together a CEO selection committee in their first meeting in October. And the process, that takes months, and the time that takes, it's just, I can't imagine what I would have done in that situation. It's difficult enough now, and I've been here for 15 months, or 16 months. So when you talk about moving forward, please, Mayor Carter, you have to see reason here. Let's move the town forward. Let's get the decisions. You talked about in your press release, your beautifully written press release about doing the important things and making sure the town stays on track and right through to October. So let's do that. Let's do the important things. Let's get the important things right. And there's nothing more important than getting a CEO selection panel together and choosing who is going to lead the administration of this town for the next 5 years. Let's get this process started. My election's up in October, your election's up in October. Chances are we mightn't be here. Let's leave a legacy to this town not stress and pain. Let's leave something worthwhile and make our legacy something remembered. Because right now, the last 4 years, sadly, of your mayor and stewardship of this town has unfortunately left a lot to be desired, and the community are absolutely ropeable about it. They've lost all their clubs. They've lost so much of the community spirit, and this once proud town is people are just, the community spirit is I won't say it's dead, but it's certainly not what it was when I moved here almost 20 years ago. So please, Mayor Carter, let's run this town like it's a business we really care and love and make things happen. Let's put the people in place that we need to get in place. Work with the council that's still here, and let's go through those resumes. Of course, there's no one that's going to get through the cracks and get into the CEO position without your say. There's only 5 of us here, but let's get the process started, and let's, hopefully you might find someone on there that you like and we all like. Let's just put it out there. We've paid, as a deputy mayor has said, and Councillor Butson, we've already spent tens of thousands on this, way more than we're even asking for in an election, to start and roll this process. Let's not throw away the community's money again. Let's make things happen while we've got those of us here that have some of you like yourself and Councillor Blanco considerable experience, and Councillor Butson and the Deputy Mayor who have a number of years experience in this position. Let's use that and let's put someone good in the seat. I'm not saying that's not anything against the acting, but the acting is limited in what he's able to achieve. And while there is unsurety and no continuity, the town cannot go forward. And you keep saying the words moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. Let's not move it backwards, let's actually move it forward. Please, Mayor Carter, just see reason on this. We need you on this. The town needs you.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. Councillor Christian, raise them up, please.
Foreshadow a motion, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councillor.
The original motion with the 3 council members.
Are you moving that? Close up. Okay, all right.
Rightio. I was sitting here trying to rack my brain on how to finish this statement off. It's honestly, I don't know where to start, where to stop, and what to say really, because it's I guess share a story, Mr. Mayor. It's I like most other councils on board here have most really just got different stories of why they joined in. Again, I was just a local young lad that's was born and raised in this town, that's come to this board hoping to do a world of good and actually leave this town in a better position than what I received it in. And unfortunately, right now, these sort of decisions that are being made right here, right now, is doing the polar opposite of what I've intended to come onto this committee to do. Rightfully or wrongfully, for whatever reason, there's no need to name or shame or blame, but the outcome's clear. That we are fundamentally failing in our responsibilities to help set this community up for the future longevity for further generations. The only way I can explain it is it's heartbreaking to sit here week in, week out, and just watch this place cripple. And that's what's happening right now. It's being stagnated so much that it's crippling. A lot of our debates just now were very personally driven to ourselves and to council. Honestly, I feel so sorry for the administration right now. Each week they come in and they battle for us, they battle for the community, they battle for the town. You see the government's team here tonight, absolutely balls to the wall, getting stuff done for us on last minute stuff. And this is the indication, Mr. Mayor, that I'm trying to say. This is why it's so important to start this process to get the CEO appointed. Again, it's no disrespect to the current acting CEO. However, how would we respond without a leader? Same thing. A leader is so important to have some longevity. We had the same debate when Carl Askew, the previous CEO, wanted a contract extension. You sat in that very seat, told us why it's so important to have, some guarantee for your longevity, so you can stand behind your decisions. You said that. You sat in that seat and you said that. So again, how are we going to be moving forward to help secure this local government's future? Right now, I'll promise you, and I'll put my hand on my heart, and I'll guarantee you what will happen if we allow all this extra work to be pushed on to the poor, unexpecting councillors of tomorrow, of the 20th of October. We will see a absolutely devastating impact on their mental health and their well-being. We've seen it right here, right now. We've got 9 spots and we've got 4 missing. And of course, we can sit there and believe what the tabloids are saying. Oh, it's all infighting, it's things, whatever. It is the life. We all have busy lives. We've all got family, work, everything else that plays a part. And then you have this big beast, which is the local government authority, and making the right decision, and whatever that is. The whole time I've been here for 4 years, I don't think I've ever made a right decision, because I've always get some sort of message from somebody saying how god awful I am, and and how it works. But that's what we sign up for. Why would we set our future councillors up for an absolute dog's hiding? And that's the only way I can explain it. It would be a dog's hiding for them to come in October and have to pick up after us if we don't start to put some groundwork in right now. A simple yes, right now. Money's been appointed, everything's ready to roll. We have everybody on board, all 5 of us. You've asked us to work together. Here it is, Mr. Mayor. Here is your legacy right here, right now, to stand behind your words, to say we're going to work together. We're not going to segregate 2 other councillors. We're going to put all 5 of us on this board, and we're going to demonstrate to the community that we're serious about what you've said and what we commit to. You want to work together? Here's your invitation right here, right now. Put your hand up when they ask for this to be moved, because you'll get 5 members of this council to shortlist a name to bring it back to a council decision at a later date. Therefore, if you want to foobar that at that point, go ahead. But at least we can then show and say that we are doing what we are needed to do to set our community up after our term. Because boy, oh boy, oh boy, I wish nothing but the best for these incoming candidates, because it's going to be a mountain of work. The least we can do is pull our pants up, pull our socks up, and make this happen for them, to make it a little bit lighter of workload. And if we don't do that, honestly, I'd hate to think of what the community thinks of us now if we can't even get the basics of this right. So I really do implore you, Mr. Mayor, to look deep in your soul. Ask yourself, when you're the first councillor back onto your first day, and go, if you were faced with this decision, what decision would you make? Because to me, it's a unanimous decision, a very easy one to make when I put myself in that situation only 5 minutes ago. So I really do implore you to look inside and make that decision for us as a whole. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Christensen. So now put it to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? Motion's lost 4-1. Sorry, is that by going on the bottom now, is there? No point. Double check.
Yes, so we've got a foreshadow motion.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move a procedural to move this to the next OCM.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, right. Mr. Mayor, I'll move it. Seek a seconder.
Is there a seconder? Yep. Councillor Butson, yep.
Mr. Mayor, if we've got a mover and a seconder, I'd like to move a procedural to shift it to the next OCM.
Okay, put it to the vote. All those in favour?
Can you
Sorry?
can you just? I don't have my standing orders in front of me, so
Let's go to the vote.
is that okay? What we're doing, Mr. Mayor?
Just go to the vote.
Could you
Just double check, Tom, that's right. It's a procedural motion. Put it to the vote. Just double check, Tom.
turn your mic on, please? Tom.
I would suggest that the motion is a procedural motion to defer this foreshadowed alternate recommendation until the next ordinary council meeting.
Mayor, can we get some, so my understanding is we have a motion that's moved and seconded, and procedure will go to the next meeting. This will be the first order of business at the next meeting. Is that correct, Mr. Mayor?
So I'll just double check that. Is that right, sir?
I've got
I'll check with governance, yeah.
is that correct?
Through the chair, the standing orders are not that specific
Okay.
in their application. If you were to put it in where it is fallen tonight, which is Office of the CEO, it would be later on in the agenda. But yeah, the standing orders don't provide that advice to us.
Okay.
It's okay, we'll leave it at that. We'll just move it.
Okay, I'll move it in a second.
I'll move the procedural.
Official motion. Okay, put to the vote. All those in favour?
Hang on. Who's the seconder?
Councillor Butson.
You got Butson? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now put to the vote. All those in favour about moving it?
Well, there's no one against.
Okay. Okay, item number 9, closure. 9.1, the date of the next ordinance council meeting will be held on Wednesday, the 25th of June 2025 at 5:30 p.m. 4.2, closure. Being there no further business, as a presiding member, I declare the meeting closed at 8:55 p.m. I'd like to thank councils, members of the public, CEO and the staff for their attendance tonight. Thank you.